Kyle, what was that Sunday like, waking up after getting back from the trip and kind of just thinking about, hey, that just happened?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was surreal. I went back and watched the TV copy of the game. I'm sitting there watching that last drive, and my heart's pounding. Like I don't know what's about to happen. But man, that's about as tough as a win you can get. And I'm just proud that we were able to pull it out, and I'm excited to keep building off of it.
Kyle, what do you think it says about Marvin that he suffered that injury and then he comes right back out next drive and makes a play on the first play?
Yeah, I think that is a side of Marvin that I don't know if people have seen yet, just his toughness. And, he could have easily just, preserved himself in that moment. But, that's not who he is. It's not the type of competitor that he is. And for him to come back and still have an impact and obviously, make plays right away and then have that huge catch on that last drive. I think that, gives you everything you need to know about Marvin, the things that you can't coach. And, that was big for him to come back.
You know him as well as anybody. Did you feel like when he got back out there, he was the usual self that he usually is?
Yeah, I know that regardless of what happened, if 18's on that field, he's going to give me everything he has. And that's exactly what he did. And, when I went back and watched the film after he got hurt, you really can't tell a difference. It says a lot about him pushing through that injury.
What was your best throw?
Just what do you think people saw out here that they hadn't seen? A lot of questions about inexperience, but third down, 10, 12, do you think people learned about you?
Yeah, I think one, definitely the toughness. I think both physical and mental. Obviously, being, I think you said 10 for 13 on third down is really good, and to be able to go down and put that last drive together was huge. And I think a lot of the questions maybe around me were, was I built for that moment or not? And, I think the team rose to the occasion. I think it wasn't just me. I think it was the guys around me. I think you turn the last 4 minutes of that game, there's not one guy who stepped on that field that didn't, go as hard as he could and, gave us a great chance to win.
Kyle, what do you like in those moments, though, when in those stress-filled moments? What's running through your head?
Yeah, just calm. I think practice is the toughest look I'll get, knowing that I'm going up against the best defense in America every single day in practice. And if you can have success in practice, I think that gives you so much confidence walking out there on the field, regardless of who you're going up against. And at that point, just executing a 2-minute drive, I said it on Saturday, just reverting back to our training. And, something that we've done hundreds of times since I've been here, and now, getting an opportunity to go out on a big stage like that and execute it. So just calm and, sticking to my rules, my training.
Do you remember the last time in your life when you walked into a sporting event and you weren't like that? The last time something rattled you?
No, I can't. Maybe when I was in middle school or something.
After those first two passes over to Trevion, it didn't hook up,
Mm-hmm.
What did you remember telling yourself something? Or resetting, or what was that moment like?
We were good. Obviously it was 4-down territory, and so we still had 2 opportunities to get 10 yards. And regardless of the situation and who we're playing, I'm going to take our guys any day. And at that point, I knew as soon as we got that first completion and we got that momentum rolling, I knew we were good. So it was all about just finding that rhythm and getting that first one that seemed to emek, and we got going after that.
Yeah, and it's almost like asking a guy, who's your favorite kid? You don't have any kids yet, I don't think, right?
No.
But was it the drag route to Julian Fleming that he turns up for the first down? Was it the throw to Mecca down at the goal line? What is that throw that really stands out in your mind? The play that had to happen, Marvin laying out for that ball?
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of big plays down the stretch, but I'd probably have to say the throw to Julian, because it's something we talk about all the time with those crossing routes. We call it quality of the throw. If I put it, a foot behind him, he has to stop for the ball, the game's over. And something we harp on in practice, and for it to come up in a situation like that, 4th and 7, with the game on the line, and I think he got the first down by half a yard. It just goes to show that everything that the coaches harp on in practice is real, and to kind of see it all play out like that was pretty cool when I went back and watched it.
Kyle, you just mentioned that there were questions about whether you were built for that moment. Did you hear that stuff?
Obviously, I think it's tough not to. You open your phone, and that's what people want to talk about, and I felt like just myself. I felt like I had something to prove. Obviously, I've made some good plays this year so far, but nothing is quite like. Down 4 points and needing to put in a drive together against a top 10 opponent on the road, and so I think that's about as good as a moment you can create and test yourself with, and I think we answered.
Kyle, now that you've done that, had that moment, what will that do for you next time you're in a situation like that? Or do you feel like, man, I already knew I could do it. I didn't have to go through it.
Yeah, I felt like as soon as we got the ball back with a minute and 26 seconds left with a timeout, I had all the confidence in the world in our offense. And, like I said, it's something that we practice a whole lot here because at the end of the day, that's really what the game came down to, is that last drive. And so if we got the ball back, I knew we were going to go down and score. There was no doubt in my mind. It was just how we were going to do it. And obviously, it was a tough drive, converting a few third longs and a fourth down, but you can't draw it up much better than that.
What's it like for you to know that you can do that, to know that you're built for this, but to have people question it and not be able to prove it until Saturday night? Like, you know that you can do it, you just hadn't had a chance to show it yet.
No, I think it was just a matter of time until everything kind of plays itself out. And, I think one of my favorite sayings, what's done in the dark will always come to light. And, just countless of reps and hours and, hours in the film room preparing, all for that one moment. So I felt confident walking out there.
Kyle, you've had a few days now to think about, what Coach Jay did after the game, the emotion he showed and the way that he went to bat for you guys, went on national TV and said how much he loved you guys. As we get a little away from that, what did that moment mean to you guys?
Yeah, it means a lot. Obviously, I think every single guy on this team has Coach Day's back, and we all know that he has ours. And for him to go do that, I think it just showed his true emotion and how he feels about this team. And I think that fired the guys up a lot. You don't really see too many head coaches after a game like that show that type of emotion, and for him to do that on that type of stage, I think it showed everyone on the team how much he really cares about us.
Kyle, when did you guys identify that Notre Dame only had 10 on that last play? Because that was where, the final play ran right where they would have had a defensive lineman.
Yeah, so on the first play, when we got down to the one, we called the sprint out, and I kind of took a look at the defense. I noticed that soft spot, but obviously we already called the sprint out, and I'm sure they saw that up in the box, and I was thinking the next play has to be a run to the left. When I got the call, I was like, all right, they obviously saw it up in the box. Coach Day saw it. I'm sure, and it was, I think, a perfect call. And, it's not our problem. We only had 10 guys on the field, and I think we took advantage of it. Obviously.
Is there anything you've learned through the first month of the season about yourself through the process of winning the job and taking command of the offense, and then the climax against Notre Dame?
Yeah, I think one of the most underrated parts of it is just controlling the moments and controlling the environment, and making sure that the guys around you just have the utmost confidence in you. And, I think the only way you can really do that is by putting the work in and letting them see that, whether it's staying late after practice, watching film, getting extra reps after practice, just allowing guys to see you putting in that extra work. And, when moments like that arise, you want to have all 11 guys or all 10 other guys on the field believe in you.
Hey, Kyle, you mentioned watching the TV copy and feeling like you don't know how it's going to end. What's that experience like when you're rewatching this all over again on television?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny watching it from that point of view and then kind of comparing it to what I saw on the field. It seems like it's happening so fast on TV, and it's a crazy environment, but when you're on the field, it seems like everything's moving in slow motion. You can hear yourself breathe. It's just a completely different perspective. So it's cool kind of just comparing the two, and it's kind of a dream come true growing up, being a little kid watching those type of games and seeing it on TV, and it's yourself.
And then when you're watching it, rewatching it, a throw to Cade that goes through a defender's hands. What's going through your mind as you were watching that one?
I can tell you what I said on the field. I'd probably get in trouble by Jerry for repeating it. But obviously that wasn't a great read. But I feel like that's the type of game it was, a game of inches. And, watching it back on film, obviously we'd like to have that one back. But, I think we got almost a second chance there at life and made the most of it.
How much more was Notre Dame bracketing Marvin than past teams you played?
Yeah, obviously their DBs are really good. I think that was definitely the best secondary we've seen all year, and credit to them for that. And, I think any time they left Marvin in a one-on-one situation, tried my best to get him the ball if that was what the read kind of presented. But they also did play a safety over top or buzz a linebacker underneath him a lot, and didn't give us a lot of one-on-one opportunities, and rightfully so, for him being the best receiver in America. I think that was a smart game plan, but I think that's kind of the problems defenses will face guarding Marvin. It's, if you want to double him, it's going to open up other guys on the field, which I think we did a good job of taking advantage. But if you want to play even across the field, then he's going to have a mismatch regardless of who it is.
Were they doing that more than like Youngstown and Western Kentucky and those teams?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like they tried to do a good job of giving us different looks pre-snap, trying to make all the coverages kind of look the same and disguising their coverages and what they're trying to do pre-snap. And like the one fade I threw him on our sideline that they ended up calling back. That was a pre-snap picture where it looked like he could have been doubled, and that safety turned the other way. So I knew I had one-on-one with Marvin. So just things like that, just trying to give different looks.
Do you think teams will still? Do you think teams will consistently do that with him? Because you have a 1,000-yard receiver on the other side.
Yeah, I think it's kind of just pick your poison at that point. I mean, having Emeka, Julian, and Cade, if you want to double Marvin, then that's going to present other problems. So I think it's just all about what defensive coordinators feel like they have the most chance of success. But obviously, I think regardless of what they choose, we're going to have good answers for that.
Kyle, you mentioned teams showing you different looks. Notre Dame, I think, tried to show you some quarters on that 3rd and 19, like going from man to that.
Yeah.
I guess diagnosing that, like how quickly were you able to see that and find that soft spot for Emeka? And then pre-snap, like how do you feel like you're developing as the weeks are going on?
Yeah, so that was drop 8. They had 8 guys in coverage, I think, on that 3rd down. And, no one's really wide open when the defense is dropping 8. And so you just kind of felt that soft spot. And I think Emeka felt that soft spot too. And just tried to throw it with anticipation. And obviously he made a great play, a contested catch. And then, like you said, pre-snap, I think, a lot of that is watching film during the week and kind of getting a step ahead of what they're going to show you pre-snap and what they could run off of that, and just trying to pick up little keys to give you an edge when you get out there in the field. So I think it's just all about learning, continuing to understand what to look for during the week, things that you'll see out there in the field to kind of give you that edge.
You're about to launch that, though. Are you going, boy, Mecca, I hope you're seeing the same thing I am. I mean, is that little thought going through your head?
On the 3rd down?
Yeah, on that 3rd down.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? Because you both got to see it.
Yeah, that's a play we don't always get, full speed, kind of a walkthrough type of play there at the end. And, I think the guys that we have playing receiver, their football IQ is through the roof. And so I think he kind of felt that void right there and knew that it was going to be a bang-bang type of play. And so when I threw it, I don't even know if he had his head around yet. But obviously I think, he trusted where I was going to put the ball away from the defender, kind of right in that soft spot like you talked about. And, this is history, yeah.
We're going to go Steven, Nathan, and then Doug. And then that was on the last 3.
Last year, CJ used to take us through this a lot with just his process when he pre-snap.
Mm-hmm.
What's kind of your process? What are you looking through as your pre-snap before you snap?
Yeah, I think every week, depending on the situation, we talk about keying different things on the defense because, teams will try to disguise their coverages, obviously, and, try to get my eyes a little confused. So we talk about, players that, won't lie to us and keys that won't lie to us. And then I think, you can see a lot of things on film and, think you're going to be keyed into every single one of it. But the reality is when you step on the field, it's really only 2 or 3 guys that are really going to give you a good idea of what they're going to run. So I think it's diagnosing that during the week. And then when you're out there in the field, just trusting your eyes, what you see.
So is that where your eyes go for that?
Hey,
the
Mike,
person who's
we'll
not
put them
gonna
right
lie
here.
to you? Is that where you're
Last
going
2 here.
first?
Say that one more time.
You're talking about those people in the field who aren't going to lie to you.
Yeah.
You're trying to figure out what it is. Is that where your eyes are going first before anything else?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, every play call, the read is going to be a little bit different. So we go over pretty much every single situation and every defense we could possibly see during the week just to kind of give us that step, like I talked about.
I just want to go back to that bracket question. How much did you guys rep against that specific look in practice, even going back to I suppose?
Mm-hmm.
And how much does it help you now to play a game against it? You come out of that with a better idea of how to attack it the next time.
Yeah, I think going into the season, I kind of knew regardless of who we were playing, the one-on-one opportunities with Marvin that he got last year probably wouldn't be as high this year. And so It's something we practice, and I think every single team just tries to have their own variation of it, whether that's playing a safety over top or playing the corner deep and dropping a linebacker underneath Marvin. So there's different ways to get to it, and I think we kind of knew, early on in the season that's kind of what we were going to get, a good amount of snaps. And so I think coming up with plans to combat that has been good, and I think Marvin's been good about it. I think he understands. Obviously, I think last game wasn't his best statistically, but the impact he had on that game, I think, was, something that doesn't get talked about enough. For him to draw two defenders most of the night was huge for our offense.
Last question to Doug.
Kyle, Coach Day has kind of planted this idea of the extraordinary trait in a quarterback. He thinks every quarterback has one. What you're talking about being calm in the moment, do you think maybe that's one of yours that, feels like you weren't?
Yeah, no.
You've never been through this, man. It feels like you were kind of ready for it.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely a good quality of mine. If you're going to play quarterback at a high level and, be in situations like that, I think it's extremely important to be calm, collected, and focused at the task at hand. And, I think that's something that you have to practice. I think, visualizing the situation before it happens, putting yourself in the game, and, I think that's something that just doesn't happen by accident. So the biggest thing for me was just during the week, understanding what type of environment it was going to be, understanding, what type of situations we could potentially be in, and just seeing it before it happens.
And sometimes great, memorable Ohio State wins kind of have a shorthand, like a name, that people can say, oh, that game. You got any suggestions for this one?
Shoot, maybe 3rd 19 or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. Let's see.
Kyle, thank you.
Yeah.